breaks my heart because, first of all, some of these brands are so mean, and some of these creators are obsessed with these brands, and I'm like, they don't even know that they're like sticking their nose up at them. Hey friends, welcome back to another podcast episode on Reesie Diaries. Today we're going to be talking about quit trying to force it. This is going to be a message for all the creators, especially the new creators on this journey of influencing, on the journey of branding yourself on social media. I just really want to talk about this so I can just get it off of my chest, because it's been like eating me up alive. And I've actually been going through a lot lately. So if you guys are interested, before I even get started, I didn't even introduce myself. Hey friends, my name is Reesie, and this podcast is all about motivating or inspiring you to become a better person. And of course, I already mentioned this episode is going to be about quit trying to force it. So, my lips are dry. So, if you're interested in my little yap session for today, grab yourself a cup of water, coffee, whatever. Get cozy under the blankets because it is a little bit more cooler now, and let's vibe. Lips is looking a little chapped. Okay, so I just needed someone to talk to about this topic, as well as I just want to give you a backstory on where this topic came from. I've been going through it these past few weeks, and I've been at a creator block for the past few weeks, as well as my physical health was just deteriorating. Like, I was sick, and then I'm in my luteal phase. What that means is that's just a phase that I'm about to start my cycle, and I've been so emotional. And this time of my emotion, because I know myself, I just know like the week before my period I'm emotional, I need to just log off online completely. But this month has been a little bit more worse because I have not been faithfully trusting God and faithfully seeking Him and reading the Bible. And because of that, I've been experiencing a lot more sadness and depression, and I've been really talking myself out of my career. Like, it's so crazy to me how just being connected to God is literally the lifeline of my career. So today I was listening to a sermon. I'll link them down below, but it really got me thinking about a story, about just a situation that I went through that dealt with when I first became a content creator. For this disclaimer, I'm not going to name the brand at all. You guys can just think of the brand. If you've been following me for a long time, you'll probably already know what brand I'm talking about. But I feel like this channel is a safe space for me to talk about this specific story because I feel like this is just a very tight-knit community that I have over here. I feel like it's not going to be spread to the masses, so I feel very comfortable with this. But okay, so let's dial it back. I was listening to a sermon that was talking about quit trying to force things to happen, quit trying to force things to happen and let God be in control. I do have a control issue. I would say that I still have a control issue, but this year I have been leaning on God a lot more and being at peace and not trying to force things. But with that sermon, it reminded me of the times I did try to force things as a content creator. And I see on Threads, which is a social media site made by Instagram, that's similar to Twitter/X, where it's just another social media site where people have community there. And on Threads, there's so many creators that On Threads, there's just so many creators that are so upset when they're not getting the opportunities they want. B, they're not getting the PR that they want or the brand deals that they want, or why is this brand not noticing me? I've been tagging them. They're not trying to work with me. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. And my heart aches so badly for new creators and the creators who are just new in this space. And it's just so hard because you really want to tell them that their time is coming. But no one wants to hear that, because I don't even want to hear it in my stage, in my career. Like, sometimes I feel like I'm not the most creative person. My content sucks. That's why maybe, like, the brands don't want to work with me. And just the negative thought process. I know a lot of new creators feel the same exact way. And so that's why I wanted to talk about this on this podcast and give you a little backstory on why you should not be forcing your way into some of these rooms that the brands are creating, and that there's going to be brands out there that's going to love you so much they're going to feel like a family friend, or there's going to be brands out there that's going to love you so much you will feel like they are family. That's how much they're going to love you. And the brands that you might be focusing on a little bit too hard is probably not the right brands that you should be. It's probably not the right brand that God wants you to be connected and aligned with. Okay, so now that we got all that out the way, I wanted to give you guys a story time. I'm not mentioning no brands in this story. In no way or shape or form that I hate this brand. I still kind of have like some animosity, just a little animosity with them, just a little bit, but I understand their point of view. I understand favoritism, and I understand that is just not the brand for me right now. And focusing on brands, specifically focusing on brands or focusing on something that's just not working out. This can be included in your relationships, in your friendships, in your business, any and everywhere. If you are forcing it down and it's not working, that means you are trying to control a situation that is not meant for you. That's all I'm trying to say. Let's get into this story. When I started my creator journey, I have been obsessed with this brand, promoting it nonstop, right? And I was like, it would be a dream. And mind you, this is way before this brand became what it is now. And I had a vision, like I had a clear vision that, oh my goodness, one day this brand is going to be doing influencer events, brand trips. They're going to do just so much for the creator economy. And I'm going to be the first one to be like, how can I say this? I'm going to be the first one to be a part of this group because I'm like one of the first. I'm really the first to hop onto this trend. So I know I'm going to be like part of this exclusive community for this specific brand, right? So that was my thought process. That's how I was creating content. I was creating content around this brand so much, and just raving, like telling other people to hop on because I just had a vision. I had a good vision for this brand. When my vision became in fruition, because a little backstory, I am a visionary. God blessed me with the gift of vision. So I see a lot for other people. I see a lot. When I look at somebody or something, I just have a vision for it of what it's like gonna become. Even if it's like, even if it doesn't have nothing to do with me, I just have the gift of vision. I feel like it's a blessing and a curse at the same time, because you think because God gave you that vision, it's for me. And one thing God is telling me, even though he's giving me the vision, doesn't mean it's for me. Maybe it might be for somebody else. And sometimes I'm just like, God, why are you even telling me if it's not for me? But anyways, back to the story at hand. So this brand finally is doing their first influencer trip. Mind you, I didn't get invited, but one of my friends was like, hey, did you get invited to this trip? And I'm like, no, like, what? And it's, mind you, a lot of the girls that started with this brand got invited, but not me. And I was okay with that. My friend ended up talking to them, and they're like, oh yeah, we love her, whoop-de-woo. Have her come on this trip. In hindsight, looking back, that trip was not, I wasn't supposed to go on that trip. I was forcing my way in. Even though my friend had my back, I could have stopped it. I could have been like, you know what? It's not meant for me to be invited on this trip. I just felt like, well, if she like, you know, told them about me and they want me to come, of course I'm gonna come. But now thinking about it, I was forcing my way in a situation that was not meant for me. And so fast forward, I go on this trip, right? Meet amazing people. The creators that were there were amazing. Some of the creators there were amazing. Some of the team I thought was amazing. They're sweet, but they didn't really try to get to know me too much. Now in hindsight, thinking that was one of my first times like networking and doing an influencer trip. So I was just like not really knowing who the team was. They didn't introduce themselves to me. Like, it was just, you know, hindsight looking back, it wasn't meant for me. I'm gonna keep saying that because I'm like, oh, it's so cringy to think that I was forcing my way into a situation that wasn't meant for me. So at the first day was cool. Like, I had a good time meeting new people, connecting with other girls. The last day, all the girls that I kind of like connected with went home while I was stuck with like another group of girls that I didn't really get the chance to talk to, but I was like, hey, let me just get a chance to know them. So when I tried to go up to them, they acted very sedity, very like ill to me. And I was like, oh, this just is not the group of girls that I want to be around, okay? So fast forward, this brand started having all types of events. I still wasn't invited to these events all the way up until maybe the next year, where I had a mentor, and that mentor was very like tight knit with this brand. And so my mentor, who's like very close with this brand, messaged the brands like, hey, like, this influencer has been promoting you heavy, made hundreds of thousands of dollars from your brand. Like, why isn't she invited? And they're like, oh, okay, like let's she can come to this event. It was like, mind you, it was like a week long like event for this brand, but I was only invited to the last day for the Black creators. So I was just like, okay. And then the same people that was at that brand trip were there at that event, and one of the team was came up to me to apologize, which I was shook. They're like, oh, I'm so sorry that we haven't been inviting you to any of these events. They try to make up some excuses like, oh, we didn't know you were from LA. Okay, whatever. And so I was like, okay, well, this must be like, I accepted the apology because I knew like, oh, they might like invite me to future events now that they know that I'm in LA. I haven't been to an event since. Like, I refuse to let someone like invite, like, be like, I refuse for someone to vouch for me to get invited to their events, period. And when I stopped that, I realized they do not mess with me. Like, here's the thing. They unfollowed me on social media. They literally like ignore everything that I do on there. So I know it can say that I'm a little dramatic. Like, they probably don't even know who I am. They know they knew of me, but I just wasn't, how can I say this? I'm just not their cup of tea, and that is okay. it was hard. It was a hard pill to swallow, to know like I'm just not their cup of tea. And I understand I'm not one of their highest ranking creators. I don't have the biggest following. That could play a whole nother part of it, because they only favor like high performing creators. The thing is they only prioritize creators who don't support them and creators who are high ranking. They don't support the creators that are in the middle. And I was in the middle. And I wouldn't even say that. I just think they don't support me. And that's why I kind of like fell back a little bit on this brand. And I feel like you guys will already know who I'm talking about, but just keep this as a secret, y'all, because I don't want no bad blood against them. I just want to share with you guys to not keep trying to force your way into something that clearly does not work out. Like after the third time, I backed off. I was just like, I just know there's a brand out there that really messes with me hard. And the moment I backed off, I met so many amazing brands that knew me by name, that's been watching my content and is inspired by what I say. And I put my whole heart into this content creation. And that's why I'm about to feel like I'm about to start crying. And so when I say that, it breaks my heart when I see creators fight really, 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 really hard on one specific brand or a few specific brands that are not showing them love back. It breaks my heart because, first of all, some of these brands are so mean, and some of these creators are obsessed with these brands, and I'm like, they don't even know that they're like sticking their nose up at them. Like, it just breaks my heart to see that there's brands out there that mistreats creators. And that story, or dealing with that specific brand, is always a reminder that you should never force your way into something that's not meant for you, and to focus on ones that are meant for you, and to be okay with it. Because there's millions of different brands, there's millions of different relationships you can get into that will show love back, that will reciprocate it. And this goes for not only just a brand, but everything around your life. And God doesn't want you to control these situations. He just wants you to seek Him and love Him. And the thing, when I started doing that, I literally, and it's just trying not to cry, because my husband's gonna come on here and be like, see, you always crying on social media. The moment I stopped paying attention to them, the biggest brand in the world, bigger than any other brand, came and took me in, loved on me. And I have friends till this day from that brand. Shout out to Google Pixel. I still have friends to this day that I made within that community that are literally like my family. They're just the sweetest people ever. And without me finally giving up trying to be noticed by a brand, I would have never met beautiful people that are in my life today. And that's why I really wanted to make this video, because you just never know what God has planned for you when you're too busy trying to force something that clearly does not fit. It clearly doesn't fit. And sometimes I feel that way when it comes to content creation in general, because I haven't grown at all. Like, I've grown, but metrically I haven't grown. Like, follower wise, I haven't grown, but I feel like I've grown with opening up to my community a little bit more through this season. And I've elevated my quality in this season. So those are two things that helps. But sometimes it's like, if you so I just know that content creation is still for me, because just the blessings that, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Stop trying to force everything. It's always gonna come. I remember when I said I remember when I wasn't getting invited to no events. I used to cry because I wasn't getting invited to any influencer events. I kind of felt like I wasn't an influencer because I wasn't going to influencer events. What? And now I'm getting invited to maybe 3 events a week, to the point where I can't even go to any of these events anymore. I'm tired out from going to these events. The things that you're like really wanting is eventually going to come. And it's going to come when you least expect it, and the feeling isn't really going to be like how you truly felt, unless it's what God ordained for you. And so, yeah, wow. If it wasn't for me giving up on that brand, I would have never met so many other beautiful brands that treats me like a human. And it's just crazy how it's just crazy how there's gonna be, and this is just like the reality of content creation. It's such a competitive world, so you just want to grab tight of the genuine people in this industry, because it's just so mean, it's so degrading, and I feel like you could just lose yourself so easily in this industry. And that's why I just want to come on here to tell you to not force your opportunities. Do not fight so hard where you have to kick someone else down. It's so annoying to hear, and I kind of get annoyed when I hear it too. It's so annoying to hear that whatever's made for you is for you, but it's so true. It's so true. And continue to just focus on yourself and love on the people that love on you back, and love on the brands that love you back, okay? Like, y'all, it's so important, because you're going to lose yourself and miss out on all the blessings God has for you if you keep fighting something that is just not meant for you. And on that note, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more episodes. I feel so much better about this yap session. And keep your head up, babe. Keep working hard. And I'm going to see you on my next episode. Bye.